inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch, no. Real women don't, 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 real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Real women don't. Hey, y'all. Woo! Y'all have no idea how excited I am. Okay, so listen. I met this woman via email. Rep comes and says, I think my podcast would be a good fit for my client. Look at her application, fall in love with her, talk to her, even interview her, and the technology demons was running rampant. So you didn't even get to hear her first interview, and we saw all kinds of adversity, signal issues, batteries dying on devices. But guess what? And even though we've had to cancel, reschedule, do all kind of crazy stuff, Phoenix is in the building.
Hey!
So when you think about it, considering your name, I guess it was only appropriate that
we had to rise from them ashes. Yes, we did.
Yes. So look, I know they don't know you. I do. Let's just go ahead and kick it off. Tell everybody something personal. Let them know the lady, and then let them know the business.
So I am Phoenix Williams from Chicagoland. Personal, I am just a big fat nerd. I spend most of my days trying to do right and stay on the right path and do my work. But I always fall off and be watching anime. And everybody be getting on me because I get distracted. But that's what I do. I'm also, teen mom. I'm 30 now, so I'm not really a teen mom anymore. But I was a teen mom. Started my career off pretty much trying to just provide for my child. And we moved from there. And in terms of the brand, I think I've done it all. Somebody pointed out to me a couple of days ago that I've been in a lot of major different genres when it comes to writing because I'm an author. And so I was a street lit author, an erotica author, a romance author, and now I'm a paranormal author. So I just feel like I'm an all around.
And see, and I love that, how you take because don't get me wrong, everybody's different, and some people have to stay in their lane. And even when it comes to creative writing, it's like I'm only going to do romance. You know what I'm saying? But you went from erotica to paranoia, paranormal. Ooh, paranoid. No, but I'm just playing. But no, but that's a beautiful thing. And I always love it when people go against the grain or they're different so that other people can realize that whatever your different is, that you can be different too. And so, bam, here you are young woman, teen mom, you start trying to do something so that you can provide for your family. And let's just go ahead and cut to the chase. Last time you shared some really crazy things about what you tried, what did and what didn't work. And before I let you answer the question, we had really juicy combos around this because almost every entrepreneur wants to be an author.
Oh, good Lord.
And they don't necessarily have the motivation. Somebody told them that that's what they're supposed to do in order to become an authority. And considering that you do this professionally, you got your 50, you got your 2 cent, your 50 cent, your $1.50 to add in and say, no, sweetie, let's talk about what you're really doing. And because if you're going to call yourself an author, then you like, I need you to stand up. So you can talk to this because of your journey. You know, did you just write a book and become famous?
No. I wish. But here's the thing. When authors come to me, because I'm also a literary consultant, they'll come to me and they'll say, oh, Phoenix, I really, really wanted to write this book so I can let everybody know I'm an authority in my field. And I always ask them, okay, but like, why would we want to read you? Mm-hmm. And it's not to sound mean. It's the truth. Why would we want to read you? Why would we want to get to know you? What makes you special? And if you cannot answer the question, what makes you special? What makes you stand out? What makes you, the person that we should just spend our money on, then you're in the wrong field. A lot of times authors will come in here and say, okay, well, I'm going to hire someone to do all the work for me, and I'm going to come out and I'm going to be a bestseller. That may have worked in the 90s. That may have worked when Jessica Fletcher from Murder, She Wrote was writing books on her typewriter. Okay, but that's not the age we live in. Mm-hmm. You have got to be, even Stephen King is out there, showing his face, and J.K. Rowling's on Twitter. Everybody is out here trying to build a brand because everybody's online. And if you're not online with us, then no one's going to buy your books. Yeah. So I say all that to say this. Yes, you may have all the degrees in the world. You may really know what you're talking about. But you have to understand the literary world is part of the entertainment industry. Be entertaining. Entertain me. Yeah. Show me something that's going to make me either think, make me laugh, make me feel. Hopefully do all of those things. And then people will go ahead and pay the good money. And it's not even down to the money, honestly. Readers spend a lot of time reading your book. They're spending, a couple hours to a couple days. Some of us are a little bit slower on the reading, so it might be a couple of weeks. But if I spend that amount of time, your product, it better be damn good.
And that's just keeping it really simple. And, to keep it in context, I know everybody gets it, but for all of my entrepreneurial ladies that are listening, she's not saying anything different than what I've been saying all of this time. My main phrase is you are the number one unique identifying factor. And so knowing what makes you special is absolutely important. But, I've been fussing about this even over the last couple of weeks. People kind of just think that they can jump into automation and get paid. And that's the same mindset with a book. I'm just going to create something because ain't nothing like passive income. Everybody want to get the passive income and make all of this money. And I find so many women that have come to me, oh, I want to launch this product. I want to do this. And it's like, well, who's listening to you? Because you haven't built an audience. And I will tell women, even if you don't have a product, but you're an authority, if you're so much of an authority, show up and talk about it now. Get people excited about you. We're in a real touch, real time society. And so when you don't let people know who you are, whether it's a book or some type of service that you're providing, people aren't just going to move just because you finally had an epiphany that you're brilliant. And that was, and you know what, and that was then, and that's still now. The difference, like you said, back in the day was that these companies had the money for the advertising budget, but they still had those people out there doing book signings and doing those different things to get the word out on the street that their product was available. So what's one of the major bloopers or like, oh my God, experiences that you had and is trying to establish your career that's like let me make sure that if I don't teach anybody anything else, if they want to jump into the writing arena, they need to know this?
One thing that I learned after the first year was I was too damn prideful. And the reason why, because I went ahead, I wrote in my first year, I started in 2020. Jesus Lord.
Back to the future, y'all.
I started in 2012. And in 2012, I put out, I think it was like 3 to 4 books that year. I really thought I was going to drop these books out and Oprah was going to call me and we was going to be on her book club. Everything was going to be great and fun and wonderful. Thought my books were going to go platinum and they went wood. Okay. I sold nothing. Not a damn thing. Okay. And it wasn't until I started researching, learning, watching others, and realizing that I did not know what the hell I was doing. Mm-hmm. Everything I was doing wrong. And I was spending a lot of time and a lot of money just spinning my wheels when I could be doing it a better way if I just asked for help. Okay. And so in my third year of writing books, I ended up getting a publishing deal. And that's when things really took off for me. But I had to spend 3 years getting myself to the level where a publisher would take me seriously. And not just be like, okay, well, you're just one of the team. Where I ended up being now is I'm an established author. I have a pretty nice sized fan base. My last book just came out on October 3rd. It was a bestseller before the book even dropped. And it yesterday made 4 weeks of my book being #1. And so I'm excited about that shit. I'm feeling myself. So, but if I look back and I'm like, if I wasn't so damn prideful, if I would have just asked somebody for help, mm-hmm. I would have been where I am now years ago.
Wow.
Years ago.
And that right there, and I know the ladies, they know better. They know I'm not just saying it because I'm a coach, because you don't even have to hire me, but you need to get help. There's so much stuff that you don't know. And I see women all the time think they're going to Google university their way there. You know what? To get you started in the beginning, you can Google a lot of stuff and you can find out some things, but there's always that stuff that you be like, oh, this little simple tool right here, I didn't even know. That one simple task right there, that's the one thing that I needed to do. And if I've been doing that from the beginning, even though it would have made everything different. And people, they don't get that. But I also like the fact that you just said a publishing company wanted to know that you were serious.
Yes.
It's all the same thing. Entrepreneurs, the people that are watching you, they want to know that you're serious. And so for me, I know one of the things I'm always fussing at entrepreneurs about is about staying at the top of mind. They'll come out and they're doing all the lies, they do posting, and then they just disappear. And when you talk to them, I know I've been gone for a while. I had to rebrand, and now you're.
Oh, how many times you gonna rebrand? I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go take it.
Let me just say this, okay? You can do that whole disappearing and coming back. I do that a lot now, but I'm 20 books in. Okay, I have a following that's in the thousands. I have an email subscriber list that's thousands of people. I just started doing it this last year. Before then, I was on your timeline. I was in your face. I was in your live. I was at every event. And now I'm at the point in my career where I can start kind of like tapering off. You can't do that when you're first starting. That's not going to work. People are going to forget about you because you are new, not known. Okay, so let's go ahead and get now. One thing I hear people tell me all the time, especially when it comes to books, is everybody knows who I am. Everybody wants my book. Everybody thinks, who the hell is everybody? That is really what I'm trying to figure out, is who is everybody. If you're talking about your mama, your sisters, your friends, they don't count. They're not here. We're not talking about them. No. They should automatically support you because they love you. I'm talking about the people who don't love you, like me. Okay, I don't love you. So if you want me to support you, you want to prove yourself. Okay, if you want me to read your book, you really want to be great. Because I get everybody's books in my inbox. I'm not trying to read everybody's books. Okay, so you really want to be out here proving yourself. One thing you said about passive income. Now, books do fall into that category because you can make money while you're asleep. So let me just go ahead and dispel the myth that you can put a book out and then go on about your business and you're gonna be raking in checks. That's definitely not how that goes. When I was working full time, I would spend 40 hours at my day job and 30 hours doing the whole book stuff. And most of it wasn't even writing a book. It was marketing the book. It was setting up interviews. It was setting up book tours. It was making sure that I was relevant out there in the literary world. You will spend time on this. So don't come into this industry talking about, well, I can devote maybe 5 hours a week. Okay, well, this is a hobby for you. And if you want me to work with you, I don't deal with hobbyists. Not because I'm a mean girl, because that came out really mean, but but because I have other things I could be doing.
Absolutely. And it makes sense because, you know, for me, I have like different levels of coaching programs. And so I have that, you know, kind of hybrid DIY where you do what you do. And maybe I come in and give a training to show my face. And if you want to snail your way through, you got access to material. But that type of learning is okay. But what the people in that group cannot do is look at somebody that's a one-to-one client of mine and be like, how she made $5,000 in 2 weeks when she was struggling to make some money, because there's some kind of work that she was putting in. Like you said, I had her going to events. I had her calling old clients and getting them, you know, to sign back up, or we're tapping into old money to make it new money or whatever.
Yeah.
And when it comes to something like books and there's other fields too, it takes time to get you established. And so, like you said, if all you have is 5 hours a week, ain't nobody shitting on you, but you need to realize that you're going to be taking your time doing something. And more than anything, you're going to be honing your craft. Because like you said, honestly, think about this. And this is my opinion. And you can tell me what you feel after that, since this is your field. But if I was only able to do a little writing here and there, and before I knew it, it took me like 6 months to write a book, then I run the risk of not being relevant. It doesn't take that long to write the book. Getting it out, if anything, the editing, the marketing, and all of that stuff, that's what takes the time.
Absolutely.
And I don't do all that you do, but I know. And there are other big people out there like Eric Thomas. He's like, you know, I sat down and 30 days later, bam, I had a book, or I put myself in a place for 72 hours and the only thing I focused on was that thing and I had a book. Of course, you polish it, but what's in your spirit right now is relevant right now. This world moves and changes so fast.
Yes.
If you want to get into this field and you go write a little here, do a little there, it would be a crime for you to take somebody's money.
I absolutely agree. And the reason why I say that is because of this. 10,000 books drop on Amazon every single day. The majority of people who drop those books will sell less than one book a month, okay? So with that being said, if you are putting the money into getting your copyright, getting your ISBN, getting your covers, getting your editing done, getting your typesetting done, all these things that I'm naming off, if you are writing a book and you haven't heard any of them, I really need you to talk to me, because if you put out a book and it's not typeset or edited, you're not selling any copies, because people can open that book and be like, oh, never mind, get my money back from Amazon or Barnes & Noble, or wherever they ordered it. But when you go ahead and you spend your money on that, a book can cost these days anywhere from $500 on the low end to $3,500 on the high end, putting the book out. That's just production cost, okay? Mm-hmm. And then you put this book out and you're selling it, and let's say, because you're a new author and you understand that you are new, not known, you're not going to make your ebooks $5.99, because even Harry Potter didn't start off like that, okay? You have to put that at a very low price of nowhere more than $1.99.
Okay. I was guessing $2.99, but yeah, I got you.
Yeah, if you're new and I'm going to take a risk on you and you're not signed up for a Kindle Unlimited, it better be $1.99 or less. So,
okay.
With that being said, if you're doing the math, you know, you spent, let's say, $3,000 on this book, okay, and your book is $2. Amazon is to cut that money, okay? Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to be selling a whole lot of copies. At least, I would say at least 300 to recoup the cost you put in. People say, oh, 300, that's not a lot. 300 is a lot of books to move. It is a lot of books to move. When you're talking about 300 individual people buying your book, and then going ahead and reading that book and not returning that book. It is a lot of money. And so, with that being said, you need to come into this industry knowing that three things sell books: your marketing, you, and the actual writing. So if you only have 5 hours to spend each week, and it's going to take you a million years to finish your book, then you better be putting out the best damn book ever. Okay, the best book. And honestly, before you even start writing, you need to be taking some classes. It should not take you no more. I've written a 10,000 word short story in 24 hours because I forgot the deadline was the next day. And it came out, it was great. Everybody loved it. But most of the people I know in this industry, they're writing their books anywhere between no more than 3 months, usually about a month. Month and a half.
Yeah.
My last book that came out, I probably wrote it maybe 2 weeks before the deadline was here. So you have to just really put in the time and put in the craft and learn how to write commercially. When you learn how to write commercially, when you learn the technical aspects of book writing, how pacing works, how arcs work, impactful dialogue, memorable characters, all those kind of things, then your writing time will be cut in half because you know what needs to go in this book. And if you can't do that, then you need to hire a literary consultant that can help you with that.
Wow. Man, whew. Not my lane, y'all. What I do is just for my audience. But when I get there, but at the end of the day, I don't declare myself as an author. I declare myself as a coach who has put out pieces that speak to my expertise and expertise that I believe is timeless, that people will later on down the line. I want to be like Napoleon Hill, and they'll be like, dang, she was really spitting. What she said in that sales book was true today, yesterday, and forevermore. But that's a lot. That is a lot. And I don't hear a lot of people talk about it, from that perspective. And, and I know some people, that they say it don't take all that. And I can design my own cover on Canva, and I can do these.
Oh Lord, okay.
So go ahead. I knew I was finna hit a nerve. Come on. Talk.
Okay. That would be great if you were going to be what I call a Facebook author, where you don't do any interaction outside of the internet. The problem you're going to have is when it's time for you to sign up for events. Because when you want to do your book tour, when you want to go out there on the road and you go to these book events, the first thing they ask you is, who is your cover designer?
Oh, really?
And they want receipts because they are now vetting authors because there's such an influx of indie authors. Either they want you to have a publisher or you be a high-quality indie author. And if you show them some cover you got on Fiverr, if you made your own cover on Canva, if you went and stole a picture off of Pinterest, they are not going to allow you into these events. And I'm talking about the big events, the ones where there's 30,000 people and you go and you make $2,000 in 2 days and then you go back home. That's how a lot of these authors are eating out here. And that's how I make a majority of my money is you go on the road, you go away for a weekend, you make a couple $1,000 to come back home. It's like stripping, but with books. So
this is all new to me. So I'm intrigued. Yeah.
But you can only get into those if you are a high quality author, and they do judge you and your book based on that cover. Wow. So spend the $100, $200, $300, however much it is, for your cover designer to go ahead and do it. You'll find a lot of good cover designers out here who run sales. Right now is a good time because it's going to be Black Friday. I'm about to get all the covers. You're about to go on all the sales. I'm about to get them all.
Some books I want to write, man. Just future.
Because I know a lot of indie authors out here who have really been making 5-6 figures each month on their books. And what they'll do is once a year around this time, because everybody's inside the house, it's cold, people are making covers a whole lot more. They'll buy 10, 12 covers. Wow. They even got a book ready for them. Just buy them. And then when it's time for them to start writing, they'll just write a book to the covers that they bought.
Wow, that's dope. That's dope. And these are people that are serious about their craft. And I love that about you. You're serious about your craft. And so, the ladies that are listening, what I want you to gather from this conversation, you may not want to be an author, but what in the world are you doing? And why are you doing that? Everything that you're doing should be building upon you becoming an expert, and the greats will tell you that it's usually about 10 years before you truly master your craft. And so when you think about, like, for instance, everything that I do is intentional. I don't have to do a podcast, and this is not my money maker. That doesn't mean that people aren't attracted to me. That doesn't mean that they don't vet me and listen to my podcast before they hire me. There's a promise and byproduct to it, but still, all those live videos or videos I put on IGTV or going live on Facebook, those things, that's me still honing my gift in speaking. That's me still talking. Every time you turn around, people are like, oh my God, August, if you haven't written a book about your expertise, you're launching another mastermind class, or you're launching another course, or you're putting it out there that you have one-to-one clients. And so a lot of ladies want to make money doing whatever it is that they're doing, but their hustle game is really slim. Now, I'm a switch gears. Everybody's got their own ideas, their own philosophies, and it's different strokes for different folks. But I am from the school of the hustle and the grind, and not meaning like scarcity mentality. I mean, just I like to work. And so what I'm hearing from you at the end of the day is that this requires a work ethic. So, you don't have to necessarily call it team no sleep. But let's talk about
team no sleep over here. Like,
okay, I don't want to put anything in your mouth. But how do you feel about the hustle and the grind? And I'm talking about from a love perspective, like really being fucking passionate about what you're doing, not because you working. Oh, and I hope this works and I hope I get paid. Talk to the ladies about what the real hustle looks like, which is what we were alluding to in the first place with this, I'm only going to work on it a few hours a week. A hobby is versus a hardcore author.
You have got to love this industry if you're in it. If you don't love it, you will leave here very quickly. My first 3 years, I made no money. And I still did it for 3 years because I fucking loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I loved this so much. When I got my publisher, there were months where I had $1,000 check. There was a month I had $6 check. I didn't go out there blaming nobody but the person in the mirror as to why I was not selling books, because it was my fault, my lack of hustle the month before that made me get a $6 check the next month. You know what I'm saying? So I was out here really, really working. You have got to love whatever industry you're in. When it starts to feel like a chore, wants to feel like work, then I wouldn't do it. If I didn't love the creative process, I wouldn't be 20 books in. This industry is way too stressful for that. It's a lot of drama in this industry to be putting up with something that you don't absolutely love. Now, my hustle is my passion really just fuels the hustle. I will be up, 4, 5, 6 in the morning finishing a book. I will be, on the calls on the weekends with other authors, trying to help them get their books off the ground.
I lost the sound. Go back. I can't hear you. Whatever you just did, say something. Okay, I heard you say you're working to help other authors get their book off the ground, and then that's when it shut off. So if you could pick up from right there, and then all I have to do is cut this middle part out.
Okay, so I'm always out here trying to help other authors get their stuff off the ground, trying to, really be passionate as well. That's why I don't get along with a lot of authors, okay? And let me tell you why, because their hustle does not match mine. I'm over here working till 3, 4, 5 in the morning. You want to go to bed at 8.
Oh, no, and I got you. But the thing about it is the beautiful thing about the internet is it gets you access to everybody. the curse about the internet is everybody has access to everybody. And so like you said before, that, you know, books are the entertainment industry. And I don't know if you ever watch TV, but I decided to check out T.I.'s new show, Hustle and Flow.
I've heard it. I have not watched it though.
You're a writer, so, you know, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I usually like to watch anything that's inspiring. And so I don't remember how many people it was that tried out, but their first auditions, there were 30. I mean, the first people that got selected, it's 30 people. Their first challenge on that first day, they said 50% of y'all are leaving. It was like, whoa, just like that, they were gone. And so at the end, there were 4 individuals left, and all of them were fabulous. And it was like, man, any one of them deserved to win, but only one was. And so what I found with women is that we like to say this one phrase, and it gets on my nerves. Real women don't compete. We collaborate. You're damn skippy we do collaborate. But you are in a competition. The competition with yourself is to be a better version, write a better book, to be a better you. But at the end of the day, people shop around. And so I'll just describe this briefly to make sure that you really get it. I worked with a woman and got her great results. And she found somebody who was just like me, but a higher earner than me. And then she had already been following that person's coach. When it was time for her to spend money to get more coaching, she was torn between 3 things. Because we were close enough to have a conversation about it, she was like, well, August, you've already gotten me results and you already know my business, and I don't have to start all over again with you. But this person over here makes a certain amount of money and I want what she has. Now, whether I agree with that with being a rationale, that's another story. And then this third person over here, she is a 7-figure earner and she's doing this webinar and she's going to teach this. The point is, whether I wanted to be or not, I was in competition with 2 other women for her money. And so, you know, in the business world, if you go get your degree, they call it opportunity cost. You only got one opportunity for that dollar to go this direction, that direction, and that direction. And so thinking that you can kind of just come out here and half-ass it and, like you said, be prideful and just show up and think that you're so grand and everybody should buy your stuff, you're going to fail. How are you going to stand out? And so where are you at, you know, with the whole thing, and what do you see competitive-wise in the writing arena?
Here's the thing. This is a very, very competitive market because there's only one number one. Only one person can be number one at a time. You know what I'm saying? Unless you work on an anthology or you're writing in a partnership, but that's rare and far in between. So with that being said, yeah, I have author lady friends. That's a weird way to say that. Whatever.
You're friends with other women that write.
Exactly. We help each other. We encourage each other. But we all know, you know, if we were to drop a book on the same day, I'll buy your book, but I'm really pushing mine. Like, let's be real, you know. And so there's ways to try to make sure that we don't drop on the same day. But even when we're talking about books that from years ago, they're in competition with each other because we all write in the same genre. And so it doesn't mean just because people have taken the word competition and made something evil and nasty. I don't think that's the case. Steel sharpens steel.
Yes.
So if I gotta compete against you, that's gonna make me better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like my competition is on my level or above me. And so I wanted to make sure that I'm trying to reach for their height. I'm not going to sit here, because people always tell me, oh, well, when you write your erotica, you shouldn't try to compete with Zane. Why not? She's the best. I shouldn't be competing with her. It's like if you're a singer, you need to be trying to come from Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to come for the lady down the street. Come for Beyonce.
Yes. Hello. It's the natural nature, you know, of what we do. And like you said, it doesn't mean that you won't still collaborate with other authors. It doesn't mean that you don't have compassion and all of that stuff, but we do what we do so that we can rise to the top. And so, you know, ladies, it's one of those things, y'all hear me saying it all the time, whether you want to think it or not, it's naturally occurring. So you might as well badass it and make sure that it works for you. And so before we get too caught up, I mean, you shared a lot of jewels. Ladies, if you all want to talk to her, you need to connect. But tell them about your book release. I want them to know about what you got going on.
Okay, so let's take a trip back a couple of years. Okay, now this is leading to someplace. Just follow me here. All right, and it goes hand in hand with what we're just talking about. I started out as a street lit author, and that was great. That was fun. And then I did an erotica series, and then I did a romance series. All that wonderful time, and I told myself I really, really, really want to write a paranormal. Because as I've mentioned, I watched a shit ton of anime. So it was a natural progression for me to try to go into that. So I spent a year not writing anything. And I studied paranormal. I went ahead and I read all the paranormal books. I was following the paranormal authors. I was seeing what they were doing. And then the storyline I've had in my head for the last several years, it started to flesh out. And I put out the first book in the series. The series called Queens of Beasts, and the first book was Queens of Beasts, The Life, Love, and Death of Adara Mashal. And that came out last September 12th, 2018, okay? And then the second book in that series, Queens of Beasts, Taming Revy, came out in October of 2018. I told my fans I was going to put out book 3 in November of 2018. And then I saw my numbers. They were good. They weren't what I wanted. And so I spent an entire year not writing anything. No, well, I was writing, but I was writing like short stories. I didn't put out any new books by myself. I was just in other people's projects. And I studied the industry. I made sure that I knew what I was doing. I perfected that book in the last 2 weeks that I wrote it, because I was writing in 2 weeks. But it was good by the time I spent the whole almost year thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
I put out book 3 on October 3rd, okay? I put the pre-order up in the beginning of September of 2019. By September 24th, before the book came out, Queens of Beasts 3, Breaking Mika, was #1 on Amazon. The book came out a week later, and it stayed #1 up until this morning. 4 weeks, the book was #1. And I say that, I told you that whole story to tell you this. There were several parts in that journey to writing these books. I had to stop and I had to study. Just because you put out something doesn't mean that you're going to hit your goals. And I had some goals I wanted to hit. I had to stop and assess and be like, okay, that's not where I want it to be. It needs to be better. I know I can do better. And so I went ahead and did that. Now, the Queens of Beasts is my baby series. It is paranormal romance. We are talking about, if you are into some badass female characters of color taking the lead and really not trying to look for love, but if love come along, all right. You know, they got other things going on. So these girls are really, they've been separated for 13 years, and they finally get back together. They're all sisters, and they finally come back together because their grandmother was murdered. And they are trying to figure out who murdered the grandmother. But as they are going into this mystery, they realize the town that their grandmother is from, which is called Hellfire Valley, has monsters hidden beneath the surface, and they have to deal with all of that. So it is it's doing very well, this series. I didn't think I was going to read it like that, but I'm glad y'all did. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, the way you're describing it, you make me want to check it out. I haven't read anything for entertainment purposes in a long time. I'm always personal development, business, marketing. Social.
Take a break on it. It's the holidays now, okay? Halloween next week. Take a break.
Yeah. Well, number one, you make sure that I have the link to your Amazon page, so that the people that just your author page, period, so people can see everything that you've written. And if you want to give me a separate one too, specifically for that series. whichever way I'll make it, because I don't know where. Well, no, since it's most recent, it'll be at the top, right?
It's gonna be right there at the top. You'll see it. Yeah.
I just want to make sure that people can see it right away. But no, I mean, but I love it. It's phenomenal, and I do like that whole, power thing. I got love in my life, but I was definitely. But I know that feeling. I was like, I ain't trying to be with nobody, but it just happened to. They'll drop down on my corner, and so it's so beautiful, ladies. Man. If you're thinking about being an author, think about what your intentions are. Think about what your purpose is, and really take the time to say, if I'm really going to do this to this degree, you may really want to take the time to speak to Phoenix, because you want to put out quality. If you got to start where you starting and, you kind of bootstrapping it, that's one thing. But if you're going to get out here and do what she's doing and be established, take it seriously, because things like this, I mean, honestly, and I'm not at the upper echelon, but think about it. Even with this podcast, the reason why the first one didn't go through was because it was a lot of crap, that would have came through with the sound quality and stuff like that. Put your best forward.
Absolutely.
In everything that you do. If you didn't get anything else from her story, build your audience. Get to know people.
And take whatever you're doing seriously. Please don't get into any industry talking about money. You need to be putting passion and purpose above perfection and profit. You really have to be out there trying to be passionate and live in your purpose. And if anybody wants to be an author, I do strategy calls. They're all free. So all you have to do is just hit me up on don't hit me up on Instagram. You see, I don't be checking the messages. Go ahead and email me at phoenixwilliamsbooks@gmail. I do strategy calls for authors. We can go ahead and talk about your project, and I will just warn you, okay? I'm not a coach. I did not get certified in that. I'm just a real ass person who's gonna yank the best out of you, whether you like it or not. So if you come to me with some idea and I tell you that's trash, I'm not saying it in a way that I won't tell you it's trash. I will tell you that's not good.
It's not gonna sell.
Exactly. I don't want anybody to get offended. And it's only because I speak in very plain terms.
They should be used to it. They listen to real things. Don't bitch. They get shit done. So you know that I only want raw, real, and relentless speakers on my podcast.
Absolutely. Don't come to me with your feelings, because it might get hurt. But you come to me with your purpose and your passion, I will help you. And sometimes, you got to do like I did. Take a moment, take a break, and be like, man, my shit's trash. I got to start over.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I love it. Ladies, all of the links are on the website. Connect with her, get your session, go get the books if you want something entertaining for a change instead of, whatever it is that you do. Thank you for being so patient and for us doing this again. You can come back on the podcast anytime.
Thank you.
All you got to do is just say where the links I can schedule. The first interview was so magnetic, but I think there's some different, very beautiful things.
Thank you.
Came out of this one that I don't know. I think we might have even perfected this.
Exactly. You know what? Because the last one we had technical issues. My phone died. It was a whole lot going on.
Yeah, a lot of distractions. I remember your baby came into the room, or
yes. Oh, good Lord. Yes, that did happen. And you see, he's downstairs and he ain't bothering me. He had an Xbox. He okay?
Well, listen, ladies, you guys got the juice. You heard that. She said passion and purpose before perfection and profits. I happen to love alliteration, so she really stole me with that one. Sounds like the title of this podcast. I'm just saying. Anyway, yeah, so thank you for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. Deuces.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless, signing out. Deuces!
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in